Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Naseed Gifted,
Dilettante J. Bass.
and this is the Phocused Black Podcast. This is the Phocused Black Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And today is episode 18, where we're talking about digital hearts, embracing tech in matters of love. Explore the intricate dance between technology and matters of the heart, and a captivating podcast that delves into how modern tech influences relationships and love. So we're going to be talking about that all this evening, about how tech and love and the intricacy about it. So thank you for tuning in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We definitely appreciate the feedback that we've been getting, and we are, we just ready to get started, man. So I'm gonna start off with a question, right? So part of this is talking about matters of the heart and how tech and how love and relationships have changed, over the years. So how has technology transformed dating and relationships?
Well, positive and negative, pros and cons.
Of course, with all of this stuff.
I think it made it worse.
You start off with the cons first.
Cons is greater than the pros.
Okay.
It made it worse because what it did, it made a lot of people antisocial.
Yep.
They lost their social skills. It made it worse because everybody's living in an illusion, like this bubble or this false reality that, like, everybody's front and putting up a facade.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you knew what you was getting into.
So this is what we call a digital age, right? Yeah. So growing up, and we gotta date ourselves. When you wanted to interact, when you wanted to date somebody, you wanted to court someone, you wanted to get their number, you actually had to talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
We used to have to,
you actually had to go meet up.
Yeah.
So shout out to was it man, we used to go to Twin City. We used to go to Gregory's Skate 22. I'm just thinking about from teenage,
teenage years.
Yeah,
it was.
Union Market, Valley Fair, all of these different places.
22, Skate 22.
Yeah.
Even a bowling alley.
And that's where you would go actually meet somebody, right?
Yep.
Or the mall.
The mall was the number one spot.
Yeah.
Livingston Mall.
So you would go there to try to meet somebody. As young men, we used to have competitions, where we would, see how many numbers you can get or whatever the case may be.
That was the movement.
Right? That was the movement. So now, just looking at the digital age and how dating and love and relationship have changed, it first kind of started with, and I first talk about the first social media platform that most of us was on, back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Black Planet.
Yeah.
Right. So that's before Facebook. That's before all of these other platforms. What was the other one? MySpace and all of these things where you actually had a profile and everything, and you used to, it wasn't your DM. It was actually just you used to instant message people.
Yeah.
And
Black Planet, be honest, was better than all of them. This day.
Yeah, definitely. It was a dating app before the dating app, right? Because remember Young Punk? Channel. Yeah, remember Young Punk kind of put us on. It was like, what, you meet people on this? You meet women and everything, and it was just like the new thing. So that was the craze. But that was where the beginning of the breakdown of communication kind of started.
Yeah.
When we talk about relationships and how technology has changed things, where you would go through and court and get to know a person and meet up, actually go out and do all these things. But now you want to research somebody before you even get into a conversation with them and everything. Or you checking out their social media profile, and now we got this simp culture where you just sending people money.
Yeah. Cash app.
You cash app them, and you don't even know them and everything, and hit them in their DM and stuff. So, that is just like super, super interesting. But I know you talked about the cons. Now, talk about some of the pros, and then we'll get into like the social media aspect of it and everything like that, as far as technology, and dating and relationships and how it's transformed love.
The pros of it all is it's still a con and a pro to it.
It's the tweener.
Here's what I'm saying. It opened the door for greater possibilities. Like before all these apps, you were only acceptable to women in your neighborhood and community, or men in your neighborhood and community.
Yeah.
So now with these apps, you can meet women as men. We could meet women in Atlanta, Georgia, here, overseas, this, that, and the other. Whereas though before it only in your neighborhood, your school, your college, whatever in your perimeter, media proximity. And that is the pro. And another pro that I would say, it opens your mind to new experiences. Like sometimes like, oh, that's a dope idea.
Yeah.
That, oh, I'm gonna take a girl there. I'm gonna go to that restaurant. I'm gonna do that. That is the pro of it all. Now that why I say a con of it is sometimes too much is bad. Like when you have an overload of half naked women, it's just like all right, after a while you don't even want to be bothered anymore.
I mean, and that's transformed, just dating and period.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the impact of social media on, making modern connections and everything, right? I work at a high school, and I just see how young people interact, through chats, through DMs, through Instagram, TikTok, all of these things before you even, you want to say, I mean, we used to check boxes if I like you, I don't like you, or whatever the case may be, but at least you knew. Now it's more secretive because people are not open with their feelings about how they actually feel within, a particular relationship. And nor do they have the communication skills to be able to say, hey, I'm feeling you. Let's go out sometime and everything. They'll do all of these other things, but not even engage in that,
And what else too with the young people? They'll go all around, or people do all, like you said, go around when the person right there.
Yeah, of course.
Why you texting, chatting, or they'll text and chat each other and have nothing to say in person.
Yeah.
And they'll have no social skills face to face.
None whatsoever.
But they'll sit there and go back and forth. And now also in relationships, or just since we talking about social media apps, because it's not only fair, but it messed people up grammatically. Like with the acronyms, and now they can't spell. So now you texting somebody and
you can't even write.
Yeah, so that's one of the ways it messes people up. But as far as love and relationships, some people met love on there through social media.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And some of us, for me, that social media, it doesn't work for me. Because I like to talk face to face, like.
Oh yeah, it's in person. You want connection.
Yeah, I gotta see how you move, you walk. I gotta see how you look, and a certain pair of shoes or something like that. Like, everything matters to me.
Yeah.
Because no offense, you could meet somebody online. They say, you don't realize there's something wrong with it when you meet her face to face.
Oh yeah. Or
what they call catfish.
You get catfish a whole lot within this. So, thank you for tuning in to the Futures Black podcast today. Today we're talking about digital hearts, embracing tech in the matters of love, and how that actually transforms our particular space in this actual digital age, and how is it transforming relationships. We're talking about that. We're not going to name any particular dating apps because they're not endorsing us, so we're not going to, but that there's dating apps out there. I'm just talking about some of the past things that we kind of used in the beginning, where we went from MySpace, everyone's familiar with FB, DM, and Black Planet. Black Planet.
But actually, the first form of technology when it came to dating was the phone thing.
Oh, with the phone hotline or whatever?
Yes.
Oh, the phone hotline. I forgot what that was. But,
you call in and people could bump you off and like where you live, and that was the first.
Yes.
One of the first ones, and then it went to the computer.
That's when the internet became more popularized and everything, and more accessible. Because we was on dial-up. Yeah, and you can't use the phone. You can't use the phone. You can use the phone and be on the internet at the same time. So, once technology moved to where we can actually do that and get into broadband and some of these other forms of technology, it became more readily available for everyone. So,
and when you talk about dating on social media, there's a lot of weird people, man.
Oh yeah, part of it is that. The thing that we have an issue with social media in general is people put on a facade. It's representative. When you go and you're liking and sharing and some people are even envious of people's social media lives. You know what I'm saying?
Like, so, what?
But then once the camera is off and they're not sharing, they miserable. They living in one studio, 1 bedroom house, taking a picture in front of a car that they don't own, and and all of these other different things that you find out later on, once you got catfished or whatever the case may be.
Or you meet up with them, and it just, I think it turned the whole dating scene into a headache.
Yeah. Like, made things more complicated in a sense. For those individuals who are super busy and they don't have an opportunity to get out and meet people, it definitely helps assist with those individuals, but you still need to get out and interact with people.
That's just an excuse.
Well, yeah, it could be.
A job, there's always been jobs. What are you super busy with?
Well, they're not super busy with the relationship. They're building their careers. Don't you understand?
Yeah, nonsense. Sometimes people like to be busy for the sake of being busy.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not really doing nothing.
Yeah,
you could get your butt outside, because here's another thing about with that whole dating thing. You ever call a girl, say let's hook up, and she said, "Oh, I'll let you know, we could do something next week." But then you call her, be on the phone with her for 2-3 hours. We could have went out then.
Oh yeah.
But you say you super busy.
Of course.
That's why it's like no one's really that busy. Especially depending on the type of job you got.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're an office person, you definitely got time.
Yeah.
If you're doing manual labor or something like that, and you work at 16-hour shift, okay, we understand. But the average person is not doing that. You make time for what you want to make time for.
Yeah, and that's in everything.
So when it comes to the social media stuff, it's like a lot of people are depressed behind
the scenes.
Yeah,
and putting on a facade.
Yeah, where you don't know that. Whereas though before, if I meet you off the door in a social setting, I could sense certain things.
I mean, you get the vibe. Because you got to remember, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's just transferred. Yeah. So people are emitting certain energy, people call it spirit, or, your electro, your vibe. Yeah. They call it a vibe now. You chi, yeah.
The energy is off.
Yeah, the energy is not. Yeah. So all of those things are kind of, a part of all this. And let me just pause right there, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. Thank you for watching the Futures Black podcast. Each and every Thursday, we coming to you at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you. And just to kind of stay on that note, and I just want to kind of talk about the feedback. So people are recognizing like what we're doing within this tech space and everything, and how we're looking to shape and change this paradigm of the individuals within these tech fields. But also when we're talking about love and we talk about intimacy, there is a whole thing called virtual intimacy in long distance relationships. Long distance relationships is just kind of like what you were talking about. You on the phone with them for hours and at a time because y'all live, miles and miles away. But now with technology, you can, FaceTime somebody, or, you can, video call individual, so you can feel like you're closer to them. And then, I mean, I've seen some relationships where all they do is FaceTime each other all day, every day. They're just walking around the streets with FaceTiming each other, as if they were in the same space, those type of things. And then if you add another dimension like virtual reality and augmented reality, they try to make it feel like you're really, like involved in touching and doing all this other stuff and creating this fantasy, this virtual world in which, I'm connecting with the other individual. So how do you feel about like this virtual intimacy and the long distance relationships that's involved with all of this stuff?
Long distance relationship sometimes is, to me, just lying to yourself. And then some of this virtual reality stuff and everything like that, some of it is preparing you for transhumanism.
Mm-hmm.
Where so it has nothing, you thinking about relationships, while the powers that be is preparing like mind control.
Oh yeah.
And
well, I mean, it's mind control. Is mind control is about tracking.
Yeah,
all of these things are all a part of this. We talked about this on previous episodes. We talked about your privacy. Why, like when you talk about your amendment rights and everything, what's the best way to allow people to just give away their rights by allowing them to selectively, just share their lives through social media and everything. That's why, you think that you are, only sharing to your friends, but all of this is public. This is all sitting on somebody's server somewhere, and when needed, they can pull up this information and use it against you. If you're doing any criminal activity, or if they want to, what do you call it? Pull out derogatory statements, or discredit you. If they want to discredit you, they could use defamation of character and all of this stuff. That's all happening, right before your eyes, and you are electing to do this by signing up to these, these various platforms and everything.
Now, what was the question you had again?
About the virtual intimacy and long distance relationships.
Listen, all that is just another form of long distance. It can work. People do it all the time. But some of that other stuff is just straight.
Why? It's just like, yeah, man.
Some of it is just weirdness, just getting out of hand. That's just like,
oh yeah.
Enough is enough, man. Get outside.
Yeah, get outside. I mean, like I said, I've seen people. I mean, you walking by people in the streets now, they FaceTiming each other, talking to each other. What you doing? What you doing? I'm walking. Like you walking, they walking, or whatever the case may be. They want to see everything that you're doing at work. They're at work. They got the thing. They got their phone all propped up just so you can see them typing on the keyboard or whatever.
How about this? You social media friends with a girl online, and you always like her pictures, and she know you, you know her. But when you see her in person, you never say hi or say, "Hey, you look beautiful," anything like that.
Yeah. It's like you stalking them versus via social media, but you can't even have a person-to-person conversation. But also, I mean, just turning a little bit, I've seen how social media has broken up a ton of relationships. I was just about to say that, because you are friends with your mate. You're friends with your mate. And you like someone's picture.
Oh, I went through that.
Like you're liking someone's picture, and they're like, "Why are you liking their picture?" Like this becomes a whole thing.
Like damn picture.
Yeah, it is a picture. It's like a piece of entertainment, because it is social media, because that's what it is. But I've seen how that has transformed into a whole argument, where there's a number of insecurities that get involved in all of this stuff that. Social media, you're liking certain things, you're sharing certain things, you're commenting on, various things. And I'm not even talking about stuff that's inappropriate, like, yo, when you coming over to my house, or, anything that's, infringing on whatever your relationship with your mate is. But, you just doing something like, oh, they showing love, because it's like how you would show love, yo, that's what's up, that's dope, because you're doing that, and it's of the, of the, I can't even say opposite sex now. I would just say of someone of interest, someone that your mate may think is a possible threat, it becomes a problem and everything. So, I also see how social media has definitely put a damper on relationships
also
overall.
What social media did too, as far as relationship, like we laying in the bed or we in the house or communicate with each other, both parties on their phones.
Oh yeah. Because that intimacy that we're talking about when you're actually in person is actually evaded, because you're engaging with other things,
or you out to dinner, you meet a girl, and the whole time she's on her phone, or they at the club,
and that's the part of intimacy so I mean, just a rule of thumb, because we're a little bit older, I know young people do this all the time. When you are on a date, when you are having dinner, there's got to be times that you got to put these phones down, right? And then be able to talk to your partner, your mate, and engage with them. You have all day when you're not with them to do social media, look at YouTube posts. I mean, if you were sharing something with them, like, oh, I saw something funny and I want to share it with you, that's one thing. But we're talking about you're at dinner and both of us are on the phone like this the whole time. Like, that's not intimacy. That's not even spending QT quality time with each other. Put your phones up when you're having dinner. Put your phones away. If you're looking to have a long-lasting relationship, because that's some of the things that social media in this digital age has taken away from the intimacy in relationships. I mean, that's just talking in general. But we want to hear from the audience. We want to hear from the viewers, like what you think about, relationships in the digital age and where things are going, as far as virtual intimacy. Can you be involved in a long-distance relationship? Now that technology has made it, more personable, where you just could go beyond a phone call. You could you could video chat with your mate or, your party of interest. I mean, and do a whole lot of other things. But I'm also thinking about, balancing technology with organic face-to-face interactions. And that's kind of like where we talk about when you're actually dating someone, putting your phones down, putting down the technology, leaving it behind, putting it to the side, so you can actually have a conversation,
It's needed, because, the senses of touch, using all your senses, could compare to always relying on social media or technology. Sometimes when you keep relying on technology, it doesn't help you in the long run. No one really benefits, and then it's like you lose. I keep emphasizing this: you lose a lot of social skills. A lot, because it's not always just about words. It's about body language. It's about how you conduct yourself in certain situations. So you lose that, or how you respond and the facial expression you make, and you seeing that face to face, whatever, like that. And then what happens too with social media or this whole thing, I think Lawan said it too, is creating wars between genders, unnecessary wars. And like, we have to change our mindset of how we use these apps or how we use social media, all this stuff. Sometimes you got to get off these things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that kind of ties in with, thanks Lawan for tuning in. This is the Phocused Black podcast, each and every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But he said very unauthentic place, which is, social media. So we talking about that representative, you're not even sure if that's the actual person that you're talking to. You like what you see, because we're visual and, a lot of people like the visual, and that causes them to respond on a social level and everything. But who knows that that's actually the individual that you're actually getting, that you're actually attracted to until you actually interact and meet with them and everything.
And you know what else too? As far as we talking about representative, all of these sites, all the women say the same damn thing. I like to travel. I like to do this. The same 4 or 5 things. Like, come on. Like, it's more to it than just traveling. It has to be more to it. And then, I like this, I like that, and that's the facade we talking about.
Yep.
Because then you meet them. Well, you like traveling, all you do, but then you be like, when the last time you went somewhere? But you like to travel.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just say things because it sounds.
Oh no, because they out here catching. They trying to catch something. You know what I'm saying? They throwing a fishing line out, trying to reel something in.
Yeah, when it's not even. We don't even care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole. It's just. Then the other thing is, everybody looks the same on these platforms.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I don't like about social media, because regardless, when you go to the search, and like on Instagram or I don't search too much on TikTok, but when you go on Instagram and you go to search, you ain't even type nothing in, and all you seeing is women, half naked or whatever the case may be, advertising or whatever the case may be, because of course a lot of that stuff is what sells, and then they feel that that's what you're attracted to, and then from there you either you look to engage, or you like or want to share, or do all of these different things. But is that truly intimacy? Like what is the connection that you're making virtually and everything? People want to get into people's DMs and connect with them and think that, because this woman has X number of followers, that she's looking at you, or man, he is looking at you, but they all receiving everything too. Okay. Yeah, LaJuan, he's just saying, hey, yes, cookie cutter. We talking about cookie cutter syndrome here.
Yeah.
Everybody look the same.
All of them
look the same. So, I mean, that's something that, and that's supposed to be the algorithm and all of this stuff, and that's how AI kind of play into all of this stuff too, trying to tell you what you like and what you may be attracted to, based on some algorithm or whatever, trying to collect data on you and then try to gear it up to what your like and interests are. And that's what dating in this social media age looks like and everything, man. So there's a couple of things like navigating boundaries and privacy in the digital world. We talk about that, and there is no privacy in the digital world. Yeah. That's what a lot of people don't understand. That's why you would see celebrities, either they're all in or you don't know nothing about their relationships, because if you make your relationship public, then it's under public scrutiny as well. And that generally never folds well for the relationship, because there's always somebody you got to analyze, overanalyze, say something, and do all of these different things to be able to, add their pieces to the relationship, because it's public and everything. And, the long lasting relationships are generally the ones where they don't even make their relationship public, regardless of how public they are.
Even talk about relationships. You ever get the girl who constantly posts every man she got, or the person, and then when they break up, they on new, then they turn to the.
Oh, what you mean? They delete them? Oh, or they delete all of those.
Then now that they broke up, they the philosopher.
The guru of relationships.
The guru of relationships. They don't need a man, all this. And it's like a repetitive cycle. And sometimes that's because stay the hell off of it. Don't tell nobody who you dating on social media. This is all fake.
Yep.
Like majority of it is fake.
Yep. And LaJuan said it best, man. Once once the court of public opinion is relationship, your relationship is doomed, man. That is so true, man. That's so true. You just put a jewel out there, because once you let the public, make all these determinations and everything, your relationship is the public. Like, it's public opinion. People try to save face, once and I'll take my childhood crush, Nia Long, who was married to Boston Celtics basketball coach.
Yeah.
They probably could have worked it out in the background, but because it became public, that was something that she had to save face, and she couldn't have people looking at her some kind of way, because it was public that he was cheating on her. So now that becomes something that like, even if you would have worked it out, now you can't work it out, because now the public perception, the public opinion that kind of goes along with it, which takes away from how you would probably worked it out in behind the scenes and stuff. So I mean, that's like something when we talk about the digital age of dating and relationships. Try to keep your relationships out of the public opinion. That's a rule of thumb. If you want your relationship to last. If you want your relationship to not last, then hey, put it out there in the public. Everybody else is they gonna all have their own opinion, and most of the time it's not a favorable one. Because people like negativity and they like to start stuff, because that's what gets people going. You could be doing a million great things, but you have one slip up, that's where everything starts going downhill, and it becomes doomed at that point.
On another note too, social media always has this positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
Always, it just said you have to use it properly to your advantage. Now, when you talk about relationships, sometimes the way social media destroys relationship, because this person trying to compare their relationship to the next person.
Oh yeah. That's the whole thing too.
Not realizing, like, for example, oh, he brought a bag, or they got a new car, this, that. We're not realizing, man, they struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas though we not struggling, or you comparing your life to this person, and you comparing your relationship to this person's relationship, when nothing's wrong with your relationship. You assume something's wrong. So these are some of the things we have to take a step back and say, am I controlling this relationship, or I'm letting outside influence dictate and control this relationship?
So for anyone who's dating today in a digital age, what word of advice would you give them, especially when it comes to love and technology, and how, like, people are using this technology, because we got to understand the reality of this, that people are using the technology to try to find their mate, right? But what word of advice would you give to, anyone who is looking for love, have a busy schedule, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they try to utilize these dating apps and all this other stuff to be able to kind of, negate that whole thing, and then try to find their match. They try to find their match based off with some algorithm based on their likes and interests, when there is a whole energy component that you get, once you are in someone's space, So what word of advice would you give for those individuals, man? Because we talking about digital hearts.
My word of advice is be yourself.
There you go.
Like, just be yourself, man. Yep. Don't be putting up no fronts. Don't be making yourself more than what you are, or claiming something you're not. Be yourself.
Yeah.
And if you be yourself, you'll find somebody that you vibrate with, or on the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
But all this stunting in front has to stop.
Women,
like, and in this digital age, don't lose track of real human interactions and behavior.
Yep.
Like, don't lose track of that, because in the end, that's going to be the thing that saves you. You got to have discernment of what what is and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, yeah, because if you want to vibrate, just like Luan was saying, like if you want to vibrate on a high level, those are connections that you are making on 3 levels.
Yeah.
You know, on a physical, spiritual, and mental levels. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be able to connect on all 3 of those levels to have a high vibration with whoever your mate is, and you can't do that. You know, like if you are looking at the digital platforms to kind of do that, you actually have to interact with them.
Yeah.
You got to have some form of intimacy. And the only way that you get to truly know someone is through communication. And being able to communicate with your mate is something that you need to do, you know, each and every day, man. So that's something that you need to do. I mean, I am a true believer, you know, and I, you know, growing up in this age and all of this stuff is new to people, you know, making sure that you make time for your mate, you know, where you have a no phone policy, where you put down the phone. If you're, you know, like there's time for you to talk, there's time to communicate. You gotta have that communication, you know, within the relationship. You know, if you want the relationship to grow. If you don't want it to grow and you want it to be where it is, and you know, like it's just a thing, it's a fling or whatever the case may be. Hey, keep doing what you're doing. You know, quick way to just kind of make it dissolve is just, hey, stay on your phone the whole time and just be constantly searching for something else.
Don't interact with each other.
Yeah, don't interact, because I've seen so many people go out all the time and all they do, like I said, is they're on their phones. They're not even having a conversation. They're not even enjoying the food because they're on their phone. They just being entertained and bombarded by, you know, all of these different influences, you know, and sometimes they don't even truly know what they want.
But you know one thing too, it's like these dating apps, they got people becoming serial daters over here. Like, just keep dating and dating, like it's not working out. You know, sometimes you got to go back to the old drawing book.
Well, I mean, well, you know, once again, we started off this. We talked about the past of how we used to go places to meet people. Most people don't do that anymore. They just kind of, I mean, you have to be intentional.
Yeah.
You know, and if you have certain interests and it's things that you're not into, then you need to be able to go to those places. I mean, you know, if you're into certain conferences, you know, there's always good places to be able to meet individuals who have the same likes and interests. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be at the bar or the club all the time. You know, it's definitely could be at a conference or, you know, some other interaction that you are, you know, that you vibe with, that you can find your tribe and people that think like you. So I want to kind of summarize and kind of talk about what's the potential future advancements in tech and in relationships, right? So I know we are getting more into a virtual world.
No, the future is people have relationships with robots.
yeah.
That's the future.
That is the future.
And
because the robot listens to you. No, you don't have to tell it to shut up.
The first stages of it, people don't know how it all goes together. Part of the virtual side is to get you in that scientific robotic mind state. Now the physical side is
with the toys.
There's the toys.
Yeah, they started the stimulation through artificial stimulation.
And then when they had the fake little butts or the fake and like human create like that. So that's what they're trying to get you to.
Mm-hmm.
That level. That's
that artificial,
But a lot of this stuff, honestly, it's not gonna work. But some people will, but on that, it won't work due to the fact is there has become starting to be a sensory overload.
Yep.
A lot of people are pulling back from technology. Some people going deeper in, but a lot of people are pulling back. They like, no more. I want authenticity.
Authenticity,
yeah, you know. They want that now, from the arts to the music, everything. Mm-hmm. So now they want that even in the relationships. Like, no, I need somebody that's real. That's what people really want now.
Yeah.
So I could see it going with as though connecting more people together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see the virtual aspect of it where they're putting you in rooms where if you're in a long distance relationship, you know, your woman is or your mate is in Japan and you're here in the States. You know, you want to act like or you want to feel like you're sitting next to them and you're actually touching and all of this other stuff. But you know, on a virtual level, for those people who don't have that intimate connection, who can't communicate because we're going into a pathway where the lack of communication skills also increase the lack of intimacy because they can't connect with a human being. Now they will go to more of an artificial, you know, stimulation where it becomes more mechanical, and that's where you get your robots, your toys, where we're talking about manufacturing stimulation and all of these other things. And now when you try to transition back to human touch and everything, you can't even get stimulated because you've been working with these mechanical devices all this time that you know you can't even feel anything like that. You don't even have that level of sensitivity to be able to interact with a human being like that.
Too much dopamine overload.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's part of all of this, man. You know, so so people who is tuned in, thank you for tuning in to the Futures Black podcast. We are talking about digital hearts, embracing love and relationships. So we talking about love and relationships, or embracing tech in the matters of love. So how does that change and shape relationships? And we kind of navigated how the intimacy, the interaction over the years have changed because of technology, and how the future forecast is going to be looking, you know, with regards to this, you know, and how relationship building is going to actually happen. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be left behind and isolated, and that we need to be able to kind of build, you know, from and kind of be able to move forward with all of this, man. You know, we got any closing thoughts or anything, you know, before we get out of here, brother?
Man, my closing thought is get outside.
Go outside and meet some people, man.
Yeah, socialize.
Socialize, have some connections, have some touch. Find your interests, man. Find what you into. Be true to yourself and go out there and meet some people that's in those particular areas, and you will definitely find relationships that are meaningful and productive, you know, to help you move and navigate through to the next level. So with that, we're going to close out. We thank you all for tuning in to the Futures Black podcast. My name is Naseed Gifted.
Dilettante J. Bass.
And this is the Futures Black podcast, man. Tune in next week, each and every week. Hey, we need you to continue to. We need you to. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Every little bit counts. Help us grow the channel. You know, next week we're going to be tapping into some more stuff, but tune in each and every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we thank you all for tuning in. And once again, thank you for tuning in. Peace.